I didn't have the audio test on this. So this is Lawn Mowing Simulator. And it was on sale. It was on sale. And I was like, why not? You know? Might tap into the inner Mexican in me or something. Oh my god. As a Hispanic dude, like that's just something that even when I'm looking for a job, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna mow any lawns. Not because I don't want a good job. I've done lawn mowing and stuff like that before. But this I thought was on a whole nother level. So I believe this has controller input. Let me see here. Oh, wait, let me try this. Oh, this music is this is very rural corporate. That's interesting. So I've messed with it a couple times so far, and I still can't get used to this music. All right, so let me see here. So I just looked around here, and I couldn't figure out some stuff. And I was also having problems getting the settings to cut down. Like, this game is surprisingly. It surprised me on how much detail you could get in this. It was insane. I wasn't prepared for that. So, let's see here. Basically, there's career. There's what's this here? These are like different challenges. I tried. It just wasn't working. So all of this stuff was when I couldn't get the settings right. I'm pretty sure in this one. Let's see here. Yeah, this was one that I got to kind of run right, and I just wanted to make sure because at first I started recording this. Nothing was working. I'm like, oh great, this is the first game I've ever bought that just didn't work on my system. There's a couple of different things here. So I have no idea how this is gonna work. I have no idea. I'm hoping that the settings are done right. So let's try that out. I find these to be wonderfully hilarious. I love machinery, things stuff like this. So this is interesting how much it pulls you in, the realism of it, really. I don't play simulators very often at all. I think actually this is the first main one I purchased that I really enjoyed. No, I take that back. I had one. It was a train simulator on my Nintendo DS. That was not bad. It was more fun to watch the scenic stuff aspect of it, and just the concept of it was really interesting. Found myself liking that. I hate weed eating. Ever since I was a teenager, I've hated weed eating with a passion. I'm like, I don't actually care. This one's fascinating though, because I've never seen a two-handled one before. It's just really wild. So let's see here. I'm gonna turn, time limit off, ground check off, overcast. I'm gonna try that. And let's see here. Confirm. This is interesting. This dino safari. I thought it'd be hilarious if the dinosaurs were actually hunting you while you're trying to mow, but this is, I understand, a much more friendly, family-friendly game. This is the lowest setting on here, and I have a pretty good computer, but even just showing the stuff off like this, it's kind of bizarre. It gives you the information on top, which you guys are probably familiar with. I'm covering up the recommended cut time. That's unlimited right now. I think it's really kind of crazy that the audio design in here is phenomenal. The overall art direction on it is pretty nice. I mean, it's fairly simplistic. It kind of gives me Sim vibes. It gives me this whole thing of like, it's almost like what I would imagine, meta was supposed to be like, or if there was going to be a virtual world to live in, this is something I could deal with. It's enough to keep me removed from real life and be able to enjoy it. Well, this is a virtual world and it's stylistically done a certain way with an edge of realism to it. And this is about as realistic as I like games getting. That's just my own personal preference. I prefer the game to be much more entertaining. So let's see here. We'll hit confirm. So let me see if I have, I don't think I do. Okay, if I don't have this set up, I don't. Okay, so we're going to try it with the keyboard. I did get the controller set up at one point in time. Not going to worry about it now. This is what's so dodgy, is using the mouse. I'm like, oh my God. And, I'm old school, so I'm trying to use the arrow key. I like walking around. It's just really freaking, this is just so bizarre to me to see a yard like that where we're just going to do brick inlay. and a herringbone pattern in the back. You know, it's not the smoothest scrolling on here. I got a decent system too. That's the thing. I'm not gonna sit here and flex with any kind of like. I distinctly heard a cow. Oh, and see the gardener in me is also like obsessed with like the flowers and the attention to detail with the trees and stuff. And it's something that I'll see like when I used to go do client work in like better neighborhoods and stuff. I would see this sort of thing, you know, like. So the ambiance is interesting. Like I wish there was. I think there might be a way to put music on this, but so. I'm still learning a lot of this. So basically Z to hold the engine's thing. And there we go. Now you'll notice that right below me there's a little gauge that's kind of showing like the cut height and you know whether it's engaged, how much fuel you have. I put maximum fuel so it wouldn't be able to run out. I'm just trying to learn how to play the game. So you're using INT to change the vehicle's throttle setting. I believe T is for throttle, so you're going full 4 here. I think I can maneuver it better using different controllers with a keyboard. That's all I got, as far as I know. I can move forward. Now what's interesting here is I had some where the gate was closed. And getting in here. The grass, I mean graphically everything looks fine. You know, it looks, you know, pretty good. When you see it from this angle, it looks great. And I think it's just, you know, I think there is a way to go full bore. And the high-end version, that was like the most amount of rendering I've ever seen for a lawn. It was just insane. So ENC for cutting. And Q to lower the deck. And then Z, start cutting. Now what's interesting is my cut height here is 6 centimeters. Go up to 7, and go all the way down to 2.5. I think this one was at 5 or 7. I'm going to see here. I'm just going to start cutting. One of the things you have to watch with this, which is really insane, is, and I am actually jealous, like how good this mower cuts in here, which is dumb, right? I shouldn't be thinking this. Now, one of the things I noticed is if the grass is really thick, it'll rub my engine quite a bit, like it would in real life. I feel like such a noob. I'd say I already overheated it. So let me raise the deck more. And it's just really thick. And it's kind of crazy too. Like right there, these little blades that get missed. Just having to kind of push through this a little bit. And this is one of the more... I did one where I think the maximum height was 5 was what they wanted. And I found myself having to kind of like push through this. I'm probably playing this game horrendously wrong. I watched a couple of people play this because I was like, how entertaining could this be? And I was really surprised. What's funny is when I first started to learn to mow on a mower like this or riding a lawnmower, this is exactly how it went for me. I was terrible. I was terrible at it. So what's crazy is I know I'm cutting the wrong height. It's also really tall grass. There is damage you can take in this thing. And so what I've been doing is what I used to do, even in my own riding lawnmower now, is kind of cut a path for myself to be able to, quote unquote, breathe a little bit. I cannot, this is so dumb. Because I was like, my God, the turning radius on this is phenomenal. I really got to look into this brand. I think they knew exactly what they were doing when they did this thing. To the right person, they're like, oh yeah, this does it really cut like this in real life? Now, I want to believe that the real ones can do a better job on grass this high. And what's crazy is, see, and it's weird. I'm cutting at the wrong height, but clearly the grass is really high. Wearing headphones with this, I was playing it on speakers earlier, and you kind of get the ambiance of it. It's got nice sound. And I got a pretty good speaker setup for my system. But what's really weird is get down here to the end. This gives me anxiety now because, like, first of all, I'm converting my lawn over to a more natural lawn. So I don't have to do this stuff anymore, or as much. And, never in my life that I thought I'd be playing a game where I'm talking about my grass. So once I get this in place, then it's kind of awkward because I'm used to controlling with this hand, not this one. And old school DOS games or whatever. And then it's just trying to keep the camera angle at the right angle to see where I'm going with this. A little off there. And I found, okay, and it works. This is what's really nuts to me. I didn't know, like simulation games really blow my mind. Because I understand, it's a simulation, like Microsoft Flight Simulator and all that stuff, which I watched a buddy of mine play that on his stream not that long ago. You can keep it really simple, or you can go into the really in-depth stuff. And this functions, like you'll notice, because I'm keeping it right down the median like you normally would when you're using a riding lawnmower to mow a lawn. It functions right. It's not gumming up the motor as much. The blades aren't getting bogged down. It's only got half of the density of anything to cut. And it's kind of unnerving how accurate some parts of this are. The damage I had turned on earlier when I was trying to work through the whole graphics problem, because the user interface on this isn't the best, or maybe I just wasn't used to it because I don't play this sort of thing. It takes a little while to kind of get started in doing the whole thing with getting your first cut in or whatever. After a while, I actually found myself really freaking enjoying this. And enough that I have the controls kind of down right now. I really want to get my controller working on this stuff. Yeah, see right there, kind of wind to the edge. Not such a great idea. I'm even sitting, I find myself sitting in my chair like I would on my lawnmower, which means I have shitty posture. I also kind of wonder, why is there just that thing in the way? I think there is an option to go out and move this stuff. But what's really funny is, just like this guy's wearing hearing protection, I know my neighbors make fun of me. When I mow, way before COVID, I wore a mask to prevent particulates from getting into my lungs. I wore goggles. I wear secondary and primary ear protection because I am paranoid about that. And I even got to the point where I was starting to wear, like, small earbuds or something like that in my ears, and then putting these over-the-ear ear protection. Overkill, but I know how hearing can be something that when you lose it, there's no going back. And it's crazy. Just the repetitiveness of this isn't that bad. That tree is killing me though. I keep forgetting I can change the angle like this. And it's really, it's weird. After a while, I just start losing myself in the gameplay, which the gameplay is literally, for me anyway, just going in circles and making the lawn look as nice as possible, which is kind of weird. I get annoyed doing this sort of stuff from my own place, but, and then, I just kind of creep up here. I try and do the things I do here, like creep up on something and hit it. Oh, that was terrible. Okay, that's not good. I'll go around there with a weed eater later. I often wonder if this isn't something of like, I really do believe that like the people that were working on Meta or any one of these virtual worlds would have been picturing something like this. Because to me, this reflects the mundanity of everyday living, but there's a perfection, there's a score, you can win awards, you can do things like that. And in this circumstance, it's weird because like I noticed, like in real life, yeah, of course, right? There's trophies of all kinds you can get. Best bowler, best hunter, best yard, for your HOA or whatever. But I find it really kind of cool that maybe there's people out there. I have a pretty sizable freaking lot, but that's just because of how the lots were in the city for this neighborhood. I really haven't used it for much except for like burning up fuel and having a reason to have a riding lawnmower. It's so weird using the little finger. I'm more used to the controller. going to have to get that set up for this next time. And so this is definitely one that, so getting back to what I was saying, I wonder if there won't be a point where, like I often have thought, just bear with me on this, that I think the best simulation that could pull people in would be an amalgamation of a variety of different games. I always go back to my old go-to standard, which is the concept that was originated in Shenmue. You had a world that, for the most part, people had jobs, they went places, did things, but of course you were very limited to certain aspects. If you've ever played Shenmue, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a whole avenue of it that, the stores were limited, the bars, all this other stuff. And, I could see where AI, not justifying that at all, but I could see where AI could be used in this to generate conversations that would be more random, maybe a bit more natural. I don't know. You'll notice I'm also missing shit left and right as I'm doing this. The weird part is, unless I'm holding it over a certain angle, which the controls seem to be backwards on there for me. Look how not straight my line was. It's almost like I wish I had first-person perspective on this. So, but I've often thought, could you imagine if you had a career like this, that you work in a game, and let's be honest, some games are like that, World of Warcraft, stuff like that, and I am fascinated. Imagine if you had a fantasy world where, you had elements like this. You could garden, you could trade, you could do these sort of things and go really in depth. Now, I've been out of the loop on a lot of games. I imagine that there's people that are far more versed in that aspect than I am, and this probably does exist. But I'm talking on a level where you get a giant corporation that would go behind it and keep it going for a long time. Because I can see where people might take pride in this, even over what, they have in real life. I know there's plenty of things that, I've played in games online that I'm very proud of. See, my natural inclination is to push forward on the mouse, and I think I just have to reverse the controls. I hit that thing good. The turning radius on this is ridiculous. And it is really stupid relaxing. I know I'm like a little stressed because of the controls, but when I finally get a good feel of it, it's fine. It's really ridiculous how, this is no different really than playing Tetris or something like that. And it's still a game. You're still trying to accomplish something. And I know that there's a lot of people that'll hate on simulators, but I'm like, I like it just fine. The idea of it. This is the very first one I've really played and bought and done that sort of thing, aside from the train one. The train one was odd in that, there was a lot of operating the engine and knowing when to slow down and that sort of stuff. So it was like a tourism thing, and I thought that was really kind of a cool angle on that. I even find myself emulating the exact same things I do in real life to a certain degree, just because I'll get bored of an angle or something, so I'm like, nah, I want to do this from a certain angle or whatever, and then I'll come back and I'll cut across. I am not one of those guys that takes a lot of time with the lawn cutting in particular directions, but I watched a video of this where there was one dude that his pattern cutting on here was amazing, and I was like, yeah, it's just like anything. When you see somebody playing a first-person shooter and they're just on point with everything they're doing, you're like, good God, how did you do that? Yeah, so this is fascinating for you guys, I'm certain. And there are more elements to this. I'm just going to try it. So, right back in. And most of this for me has also been just trying to stay on straight enough of an edge that, and to me, this looks like I'm killing the lawn, and I'm still cutting it the wrong way, which is crazy to me. So I don't know what everyone was. And it's, you know, well, you know what? I take it back. I think about other simulations I played, like Sega Bass Fishing and stuff like that. That was fun back in the day. But it wasn't really a simulation. It was a fishing game that had, like, the fishing controller on the Dreamcast. Good lord, I love that game. Alright, so we're just going to park here for a second. And, let's see. I'm trying to remember here. Alright, so I'm going to turn that off, and I believe it's, which one is it here? Get off here using Q. Get off. I want off. There I go. All right. So then I can look around and see the damage I did. The lawn looks not great. You can see, look at that. You can even see the tracks in it. It's ridiculous. Oh man, this is embarrassing. Now, I want to know if I can move this or not. Can I move this? Now that I can stand on it. I think there was a mode in here to clear the yard first of things and then put them back. And I've seen some other adventure games and stuff like that that, you know, they may not, they're probably not this, they are better levels of detail, but not interactive detail. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. I love this old tractor. Man, there is nothing better than finding old farm equipment or machinery on land. Not a lot of it here in the upper part of Missouri that I've seen, or at least none that I don't feel like getting shot over by wandering on the wrong land. But yeah, the game has a lot more going for it. It really is something where you're just like basically, you're basically just trying to, like, you know, mow lawns and stuff like that. Now, what's really interesting to me is that I know that there's other controls in here and you can sprint for some reason. I'm like, I don't even know why I'd need to do that. Maybe there's some really big lawns here or something. I don't think there's a way for me to get over into this. No. And see, my progress is 0% here. I was looking there, it's just reflections, which is kind of cool. These are very well-off people. It's a shiny car. Let's take a look at your other car here. Ah, you look like you want to be a Porsche, but you don't want to pay for the fees. And this is a little weird to me. Like, I think those were supposed to be weights for lifting, but look at they just look a little different. I don't think I've ever seen a garage like this. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's fine. There are some graphics in here, though, that are a little bizarre when you look at them. They look like they stand out a little bit in a different way. I can't really explain it, because for all the realism and stuff they put into, like, the foliage, you see something like that, and you're like, oh, that... I mean, it looks fine. It looks fine. And then there's other things in here that look okay, but there's just some things that seem a little bit out, you know, like... And this is very... I love the thatch roof. Oh, God. That was something I always wanted. I saw him for the first time when I was a kid in Europe, and then, like, later I was like, oh, okay, I don't think I can walk past my truck, can I? No. And see, it's locked in, so you can't really walk outside. I can't jump. But it clearly looks like a Toyota Tacoma or something. Maybe a GMC. So I can leave the location, but I'm not done. Yeah. It's peaceful as hell. That's the one thing I was going to say. If you're stressed out, which, you know, sometimes, like, if I'm feeling, like, down or something like that, a game like this, it's probably one of the reasons why, like, you know, Animal Crossing and stuff like that is still very much something I like playing. I play the portable version on mobile and stuff like that. I didn't check out this shed. This looks like... That doesn't look like a normal tool shed. That looks like something you'd put a horse in. That genuinely looks like a horse shed. I think, right? I mean, I've been around horses a lot in my life. But, yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that one. That's also doesn't look like it'd be big enough for a horse. Maybe a Shetland pony or something. I mean, they've got... That's the interesting thing, right? Yeah, those are feeders. That's clearly a feeder. Okay, so... Who the fuck keeps a horse out here? Unless this is one of those things where, like, I'm rich and I can... Yeah, because I was like, that's got to be a water trough. It is a water trough. I didn't dump it, but... That is really weird. So it's... Okay, so that's like the most... I have too much money on my fucking hands kind of thing to do. And it's not even like that fancy, but like... It's like, hey, I want the look that I own a horse, and I could feed a horse, and I could water a horse, and I could house a horse, but not really. It's like never really getting past that mode where you're like, you know, would buy slice animals when you're a little kid, and you're like, this is my horse, and then you grow up and do that. And I kind of have some mad respect for that, because, you know, I mean, I'd have probably built Castle Grayskull or something out here, you know. So this would be the battle ram out here, something like that. That's crazy. So otherwise, okay, let me go ahead and get out of this part here. I'll show you guys the rest. Yes, I do wish to exit it. Let me see here. So the cut height was 4.5 to 5.5 centimeters. It was a general cut. So I think they could ask for things like a cross cut in here. The current grass range is about 22 to 30 centimeters. So that explains a lot. That's crazy. So there's this wide berth of difference, and I was at the highest that the deck would go, so I still would have had a lot more to pull off on that. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, so while I'm in here, I want to see something. So invert axis. Okay, so I'm wondering here. Yeah. Oh, so there is first person on mower, so I have to figure that one out. Yeah, I don't want to invert this. I think for me, I'm probably doing some dumb stuff. Why would I always sprint? Oh, okay, I want to take that down a bit, because good God. Dead zone? Steering wheel? I'm going to turn that on and try something later here. I don't really know where else to go with that. So those are the control settings. Oh, okay. So it does work. For some reason, it's just not detecting my my thing, which is weird. So let's go here. All right, we're going to have to try this again at a later point in time when I can get the controller to work. That is one thing I've noticed, and I mean, it's plugged into the right thing. I've got it. It's fine. I was working on another game. Actually, when I played Tiny Thor, it was working excellent. So this game can be a weird batch when it comes to the settings and stuff. I'm not saying it's not fun, because it is pretty fun. I do really like it quite a bit. Let's see here. And then music. So here I thought maybe they would be able to choose music or something like that to play along with. All right, so now, you know what? I'm going to go back to this here. And I'm going to hit resume just real quick. I want to see something. Let me find my stupid mower. Hell, oh, okay. Oh, no, that's better. Okay, it took me a second to figure out. Oh, now I'm doing the same thing. Oh, wait, I don't think I did it. I bet. Yeah, I don't think I did. Did I hit confirm? I don't think I did. All right. Oh, I'm inverting everything. Now I'm really going to get sick. Oh, this will be kind of dodgy. All right, get on there, because I'm not sure what's happening here. Fill fuel, recover. Oh, I'm just going to get on here. Let's see here. Start this up. Oh, that's more natural. Okay. If I do that, that feels better. I didn't like the reversing. Oh, god damn it. I reversed the X and the Y. Or the X. Okay, so let's go full throttle. Is there a way? My wonder is, how do I get... I want to know how to do first person on this thing, because that would almost be better. I have no idea how to do that. Maybe I should read the manual at some point the next time before I play this thing and figure that all out. Yeah. So, like, now I kind of want to know. Alright, so the height is 6 engaged, and it said much lower, so... damn it. I killed it. Didn't mean to do that. See, it's all the keyboard stuff. I'm not good at this. Well, I'm going to get better at this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try and figure out the controls a bit more and run into more shit, I guess. It is a hell of a lot of fun. So let me go ahead and jump out of this here real quick. Look at a few more things. I'm going to quit. We'll go back to this. I really do think this would be a nice add-on. Let's see here. There is some stuff in here, like, you know, the Ancient Britain location pack. I thought I had gotten this in a bundle pack, but I didn't. That was what was on sale. The challenges are kind of interesting to me, right? And I keep looking at some of this stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty neat. It looks like you can upgrade like crazy. There's eco versions, all this other stuff. There's like a garage thing here that I'm still trying to figure out. Like, this was a contract I jacked up. I'm not even sure. Let's see if I can go in there. Was this the same one? Maybe it was. It was really gorgeous, and I felt terrible. I ran over some of the flowers. I want to also say, too, that if there is anything that gives me home envy, it's these locations. I know that they're probably based on something realistic and that there are really homes that look like this, but good Lord, man. I'm doing good to keep, you know, some of the plants growing the way I have them outside. So let's jump in there. Yeah, this is the one, but I think this is completely reset now. Yeah, I had taken out all that stuff right there. That was horrible earlier. I felt like an idiot. I really didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And see, and like my processor's struggling a bit to do this. Like I said, I don't normally, and like I also get really motion sick. So I probably am not going to play this too much longer. I'm about 30 minutes in right now. I still keep worrying I'm going to tromp on something. The draw-in distance looks kind of interesting. Oh, okay, so there. Okay. So that's what that is. So, they, you know, and there was something I saw earlier. See, it's doing the opposite of where I want it to go, which is weird. Because if I'm pushing right, I'm looking left. I guess that works for some people. Walk into a tree like a drunk. It's very English. Even the cars sound English because we're in England. Anyway, yeah, this was a whoa, something's here. What are you? Look down. I don't know what that was. Oh, okay, so there is. Ah, look at that. There is looking around and picking up objects. I saw you. So let me at least get that done. Oh my god, this is the worst part about it, is just that there's no auto leveling on the viewing. I know there's people far better at this than I am, but oh my god. I think part of it is that, like, it's not quite, like, oh, oh, I thought it was a sword. I was like, oh, come on, I get that it's Britain. Who leaves pruning shears? You know, I say that, and I have to look at my neighbor's yard, and I'm like, he leaves a lot of things out there. Gorgeous thatch hut. Ivy growing up the side. Look at that. Part of me wants to go inside the home, but you can't because you're a contractor paid to do this sort of thing. I feel like I'm mowing one of James Bond's homes. Yeah. He's very, very cool. And there's my different mower. Anyway, so that was just a real quick preview of this game. It's going to be something I'm going to try getting better at. I am definitely going to practice on this one because no one needs to see this weird vertigo drunkenness that I'm doing right now. And I want to get it mapped to the controller and make sure I'm not doing something wrong because I did get it to work. But like I said, the graphics were cranked so high that it was like, I'm not even joking, I think 3 frames per second. It was terrible. And it looked gorgeous, but the load time was funny. I thought I was going to have to reinstall it. I went online and looked, and there were clearly other people that had problems with it. And I thought I had checked all the boxes and done everything. But the way that the menu and the overall presentation of the game is done. The UI is not the most user-friendly, and maybe that's just because, and I'll give them this, I don't do simulations very often, so I tend to quickly, snap through options. And there's, when you get used to playing certain games, I play a lot of role-playing games, a lot of platform games, and a lot of fighting games. You kind of get used to how something can follow and flow in that zone. App development is very similar to that. I get in with this one, and I'm like, well, did I have to hit confirm for something to take change? Am I thinking the right way with the axis, viewpoints, things like that? All of that comes into play. The art direction is great. It's really nice. It's nothing spectacular, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be accurate. There are details, though, like if you look here, wrong goddamn way, just things like that, like the grass clippings that are on the edge. Those are things that, I think aren't talked about enough in games. Somebody, a designer, somebody working on the graphics came up with that, thought about it, wanted that in there. It's that extra little bit that just pushes it out of, being bland into something that's halfway, decent to look at to really, really cool. And I can appreciate things like that and all the time that it took to put all this together. And I know there are games out there that are consistently pushing the realm of excellence in graphics, like Red Dead Redemption and stuff like that, which I'm interested in playing, but I don't know. There's a lot of things like that about this game. Audio-wise, it's gorgeous. Just especially if I'm not narrating like this and I can take the time to listen to the background, you do kind of zone out. It's like mowing your lawn. It's exactly what that is. There's a lot of nuances that are interesting that I didn't think were going to happen or work. Because, it's funny. It's like another game that takes place in an urban-like setting and is completely different and has a higher amount of fantasy to it is Paperboy. And that is one of my favorite all-time games just because of the complete insanity of it, right? And the enemies you have to deal with and dodge and all this other stuff. Well, this goes down a similar path to me. I like games that happen in suburban areas, and this is just interesting. I think that, there's a lot more to discover in this game, and there's probably other things I haven't even figured out. But at its most base, it's a really cool simulation that seems to work really well. If I can get used to the camera angles and other stuff like that and figure out more stuff over time, then I'm definitely going to come back and play this. But I thought I'd just kind of play through it, show you guys. And it is a nice break from the action-adventure sort of things. It's just sometimes, and this is something having to do more with mental health, which is something I thematically talk about through all of my videos. If you have the opportunity to find something that gives you even an hour of just silly release, right? And I have a multitude of things. I have a desk full of handheld games, some physical, some electronic, old ones and new ones. I have a boxing bag. I can go for a walk, or I can sit here and maybe play an hour of a game and do these little things. That's one of the reasons why none of these will ever go over 30 minutes to an hour in most cases, because there's just no reason for them to. It's kind of a side thing. For those of you that know, I'm a graphic designer and illustrator, and I have work that I have to do, but sometimes I just want to clear my mind. This is a perfect example of one of those games that it's not hectic. It doesn't require a whole bunch of strategy, but just enough thinking to kind of get in the zone and do something that, especially right now, it calmed me down enough in my thinking process that I feel actually refreshed. Yes, the controls were a little dodgy. Yes, I couldn't figure out why my controller wasn't working. And there are some freaking camera angle issues like this. I don't know why, but I just automatically want to look down, just because of the way that it's set up. I'm pushing up and I want to look down, and then if I pull back, I'm doing that, which makes sense from a flight control thing. But then, even the way, I'm thinking about looking or doing that, there's just certain things I'm not used to. That's not a criticism of the game. It's really well handled, and after the second try, and I was able to get the graphical interface, or the graphic requirements, that is, to really work, it's fun. It's not bad at all. I really like it. I'm interested to see how much further I can go with it. And then I think what I might end up doing is devoting at least, maybe 3 or 4 sessions to it at some point in time when I kind of understand more about the different commands and what to do, and then go from there. Otherwise, though, it's been a freaking blast. I really enjoy this game so much. It's just different. And I really like that. Now, what's interesting is, and this is just a side note, I have a plugin that is recording vertical sources, and I was going to start using this for TikTok, and I thought about that today. I was like, oh, I should do that, but I'm beginning to figure out that there's something with the way that OBS is interacting with this, that every time I switch out to want to click that button, which just means I should hook up my Stream Deck, it does something weird and the game goes away. So, unfortunately, that's more of a mental note for myself. I don't even know why I'm talking about that out loud. So, okay, for those of you guys that did stay watching this long, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And, yeah, the cows are killing me. I love this. I love this so much. And it's really strange. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this as much as I did. Because there are some other games I've played. I played simulation games like Sim City. Sid Meier's brilliant. And the Sierra games. My first real addiction was Caesar 2. And good Lord, man. I got Caesar 2, went back, got the original Caesar, which was rough, but cool. Very, very cool. And then Caesar 3, and I think even Caesar 4 I currently have. Caesar 3 is my all-time favorite, though. I don't even know why. It's just there's something about that particular era of Sierra games. Because right around that time, I think I also got Pharaoh, which I got hardcore addicted into. Because that was at the time when I was taking a lot of classes in Egyptology. And I was really in the zone. And it was just wonderful, and I really loved it. In fact, that might be something I'm going to try and fire up at some point in time and see if I can't get that to work. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate that a lot. And I'll be adding more gameplay videos. I'm going to go ahead and record some more right now because I've got good weather, I've got some free time, and I feel like I can record some more stuff. So, you'll see a backlog of these things showing up on here. But thanks for watching, guys. And you can follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, or, well, not yet Twitch. You can follow me on Twitch. I have a channel on there, but I don't have anything uploaded yet. And certainly YouTube, like you're finding this video right now. And I do have a Facebook page, but yeah, we'll see what's happening because social media is changing all the time. See you guys in the next episode.